Good morning, everybody, and it is a good morning. And if you hear a rooster crowing in my ear, it's because there's a rooster over there who he's been crowing in my ear. Hey, he's crowing in my ear about our psalm for this coming Sunday, Psalm 54. It's one of those psalms that doesn't get a whole lot of love. In fact, it barely gets any love. It only shows up once in the entire 3-year common lectionary. Yeah, see, even the rooster complains about that. Psalm 54. And it's kind of an interesting psalm. We're not sure where to classify it. It's either a lament or a thanksgiving. You say, how can it be both? Well, it's very short. It's only 7 verses long. It starts out like a lament, but then it ends up as a psalm of thanksgiving. But it's also one of those weird psalms, too, because it was giving a superscription later on by the editors of the Psalter to one of the situations that David found himself in. In other words, he was running for his life from Saul, and it links up with an incident in 1 Samuel. It says, to the leader with arranged instruments, with stringed instruments, a maskil of David, when the Ziphites went and told Saul, David is hiding among us. See, Saul was hiding for his life. And so as they were putting together the Psalter, they said, hey, you know what? This sounds like King David. I bet you he wrote this. Well, could have been, may not have been, because if it's general type of theme of I'm in trouble, God, I'm trusting you to save me. Hey, thanks for saving me. It fits a lot of our situations, and that's what makes it a neat psalm as a prayer, especially for those who find themselves in a difficult situation, and now they're thanking God that God has pulled them through this very difficult time. What's interesting that was pointed out to me by one commentator is that if you go to the very central word of this psalm and you're counting from both ends, from the beginning and end, using the Hebrew words, the very middle word is helper. And that verse is, but surely God is my helper. So he said, if you look at that, the whole psalm hinges on that. He's your helper in your time of need. And now, as you see that has happened in your life, you sing forth this psalm of praise. You bring your thanksgiving before God. There's a lot of things that are happening here because it's kind of a general type of prayer. When you look at it, when you're talking about being vindicated, because you're asking God to do the vindication, not you. So there's a big difference there. It's not, God, let me smite my enemies. No, God, you take care of my enemies. Please, you come and be my helper. Well, you can translate that enemies is quite a lot of different things, because the Hebrew word allows for that. It's the word that in our Revised Common Lectionary, our RSV, Revised Standard Version, translates as insolent. For the insolent have risen against me. Well, that can also mean foreigners. That can also mean those that I'm close to who are estranged from me, family, friends. So you can mean a lot of different things. But the important thing is you don't take matters into your own hands. You let God do the rescuing. And that's what this psalm is about. God, please take care of this horrible situation that I'm in. And you come to the end, and it's thank you for doing it. Now, there's also a way to look at this psalm as the way that we as God's people in Christ look at life, in that, we live both in the kingdom and we live as part of the coming kingdom, right? So, yes, God, you have given us salvation. And yet, there's a lot of bad, cruddy stuff that still goes on around us that doesn't seem to point in that direction. So we live in that tension between it's here and not quite here in its fullness. And that could be what this psalm does as well. So read through it. It's Psalm 54. It's simply 7 verses long. And it can be used as a prayer for you if you have some difficulties in your life. Use it as a prayer because it ends up with the thanksgiving to God for bringing about your deliverance, whether it's realized now or it will be realized in the future. Well, I'm getting beat up on all sides right now by roosters, outside, inside the barn here, because they're saying it's time for this world to wake up. So even though it's not Wake Up Wednesday and it's only Monday, wake up, everybody. It's a brand new day. God's blessings be with you.